Hi, everybody. Let me first say Happy New Year. We have a few more hours left of 2021. And I just want to note that 1 year ago, we had just successfully gotten the PSP extended. We were getting everyone recalled back to work. That was through our solidarity, and we continued that support for another 10 months. What that meant was that we were not pushed into a period of austerity, and we're beginning negotiations now across the industry for improvements. That would not have been the case if we had not come together and said that economically this pandemic was not going to be put on our backs. Now, right now, over this holiday season, we know it's been really tough out there. The operation has been a mess everywhere. That's been a combination of weather and also all of the other strains. People are getting more sick more often with the increase of Omicron. And we are stretched a little thin, as you all know. What was really a concern, though, is that instead of addressing this and planning this properly and providing incentives like are in many of our contracts, like the incentive that was negotiated at American, like the incentive that was recently negotiated at Spirit, Delta Airlines instead went to the CDC and pushed to have the quarantine time reduced. They immediately put out a policy to flight attendants that was even below what they were asking for, saying that they had to return after 5 days, that they were cutting the amount of sick leave that they were providing from the 10 days to 5. This is another reminder about why we have to stand in solidarity with our friends and flying partners at Delta in organizing their union. Because when we don't have that voice there, it's something that affects all of us. Now, I want to be really clear. The CDC did issue new guidance, but we immediately interfaced with airlines and said, you have worked with us to have policies in place that exceed what the federal government is calling for. And we have been successful in having several airlines back off with putting new policies in place. That has been your union working at each of the airlines and working very closely also with APFA at American. I want to really thank my sister, Julie Hedrick, who has been such an incredible partner this year, who without the close work of AFA and APFA, we would be in a much worse place as flight attendants. I'm really, really grateful for that. But we are interfacing with the airlines and saying, listen, what you were asking for was a decrease to 5 days of quarantine time for breakthrough cases. And even the CDC recognizes that when someone is vaccinated, it's likely that their symptoms are going to be less. They may even be asymptomatic when they test positive and can still contract that to other people, but that their infectious period is likely less than someone who is unvaccinated. Now, I should report out too, you all may have been very aware that at the Senate hearing where I testified in mid-December, Gary Kelly, the CEO of Southwest, became a positive. I want to let you know that there's no one who contracted coronavirus from him. The rest of the panel was fully vaccinated, and it is a testament to the vaccinations helping to slow down the spread. Although we know there can still be breakthrough cases. So what the industry was asking for was only on the breakthrough cases, decreasing that quarantine to 5 days, but then also making sure that people are asymptomatic, have no symptoms, and come back with a test. CDC did not include the test requirement, but if the industry was asking for this, then they should include that themselves, and they should be supportive of those tests for flight attendants and other workers. We're going to continue to press this. One thing I want you to know very clearly is that what's not being covered very well is that even the CDC guidance says that someone should be asymptomatic. So no one should be pressed to come back to work before you are better. We want to make sure that you have the ability to get better. And we also want to make sure that we are cutting down on the likelihood of any additional infections that it would extend the life of this pandemic. So we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep doing everything we can to support ourselves and to continue to push for legislation like the Build Back Better Act that would include paid family medical leave. That will make all of us safer around the country, because there's a lot of people who feel pressure to go back to work sick because they do not have union contracts, they do not have sick leave, and they don't have that kind of support. I was around the holiday table with some of my in-laws who are experiencing that very thing. They only have some vacation, that's all they can use. They don't have personal time off or sick leave or anything else. Thank goodness for our union contracts, but we need to raise the standard for everyone, because as we know, this pandemic affects all of us, and we need everyone in our communities to have the support that they need to get better, to take care of family members who are sick, and not have to fear losing their jobs or having to fear losing pay. So here we're going into 2022 with all of these issues on our plate. We're going to continue to dig in to end this pandemic, to keep everyone safe, and to get to a place where we can make the most out of our time at the negotiating table, because we've been waiting a long time for these improvements, and it's time to band together, AFA and APFA, and organizing at Delta and SkyWest and every other airline, so that we can improve our careers for the long run, continue to build power for flight attendants, and lead us to a better place. All right, here's to 2022, but especially here's to all of you. Love you so much. Fly safe, be healthy and safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.